they have light and variable winds, though. Then we take a look in the Midwest, where the Ohio Valley has plenty of light winds, but looks like winds are generally moving to the north, as you can see. The Great Lakes region, winds are converging from either from the south or from the west towards the northeast, and they're blowing up to 20 miles an hour. But over the lakes, though, they're moving up to 30 to 35 miles an hour. The southern plains, you do have winds that are moving to the southwest at up to 20 miles an hour, converging with with an area with a surface low pressure center located right near the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas and southeastern Colorado. In the Dakotas, though, there is an area of high pressure moving clockwise, so you can see, but just some light winds, though. But in parts of North Dakota and Minnesota, winds are moving to the east at up to 20 miles an hour. There's plenty of light and variable winds throughout the Rockies and the Great Basin, but Nevada has winds that are coming from the north, moving up to 20 miles an hour. And plenty of light and variable winds throughout much of the west coast, but in the immediate coastline, places like the Pacific Northwest on the beaches, winds are moving up to 30 miles an hour towards the north, but in California, they move down south, moving up to 30 miles an hour along the beaches, though. But there is an area of strong low pressure center right around the Catalina Islands, just located off of Santa Barbara. But yet, there's plenty of winds moving towards places like Los Angeles, San Diego, and Indio, moving onshore, moving at up to 20 miles an hour, but the desert southwest. Looks like generally they're moving to the northeast. Some places like southern New Mexico, blowing up to 25 miles an hour. Now we're going to take a look at temperatures. Wild, it looks like your wind direction is coming from the west, blowing up to 20 to 30 miles an hour. With temperature at 35 degrees, or should I say about probably 2 degrees Celsius. Let's take a look at temperatures throughout the Northeast. You can see much of the Northeast have temperatures that are colder. They're in the 20s to mid-30s throughout much of New England, but going down towards the Mid-Atlantic and parts of New York and Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Temperatures range, well, let's just make it New York and Pennsylvania, where temperatures, they are in the 30s and 40s, but as well as folks in the New York City area, Atlantic City, at 50 degrees, the Mid-Atlantic. Temperatures are in the mid-40s to the mid-50s. Then we go down to the south. Carolinas and Georgia and Tennessee, temperatures they're in the mid-50s to low 70s. And similar story. Hold on a minute. Well, it's quite a false alarm, folks. In Alabama and Mississippi, temperatures are in the mid-60s to low 70s. Arkansas, they're in the 60s. Louisiana, 70s. And we go down to Florida, where temperatures in the panhandle, they're in the 60s to low 70s. Down south, they're in the 70s overall. Oklahoma has temperatures that range from the 50s in the panhandle parts of Oklahoma and Texas, to the rest of Oklahoma being in the 60s, as well as folks from Denison and Dallas all the way to Alpine. But folks going downstream towards the Gulf, The Gulf Coast plus San Antonio, temperatures are in the 70s to mid 80s, upper 80s in Laredo. In the Ohio Valley, temperatures there, they're in the 40s to low 50s. In the Great Lakes states of Wisconsin and Michigan, temperatures there, they're in the mid 30s to upper 40s. Minnesota has temperatures that range from the low 30s to mid 40s. In North Dakota, temperatures are in the 30s, along with South Dakota, going down the Missouri River. Iowa has temperatures that are in the 40s to 50 degrees in Iowa City, 50s to low 60s in Missouri, 40s in Nebraska, and mid 40s to low 60s in Kansas. Sorry. Montana, sorry about that. Montana, temperatures are in the 30s overall. Most of the state, though, northern Idaho, temperatures are in the 30s. Southern half, 40s. Wyoming, they're in the 40s. Colorado, temperatures range from the mid 30s to the upper 40s. In Utah, temperatures range from the upper 30s to low 50s. Nevada, temperatures throughout much of the state, they're in the mid 30s to mid 40s. Downstate, upper 40s to mid 50s. Then going down to the desert southwest, New Mexico and Arizona. The northern half of New Mexico and Arizona, temperatures there, they range from the low 30s to low 50s, where you have 32 in Alpine, 39 in Gallup, 40s throughout the rest of northern New Mexico, and as well as northern Arizona, but 50 degrees at Kingman. In the southern parts of Arizona and New Mexico, temperatures range from the mid 50s to mid 60s. Then we go to California. Temperatures along the coast, they're in the 50s, plus the Central Valley, California, minus the Sierra Nevadas, though. It's 61 in Indio, but temperatures as you go up in the Sierra Nevadas, they're in the 40s to a few places there could be in the mid to upper 30s. In Oregon, temperatures range from the upper 30s to low 50s. Washington State, temperatures range from 35 in Trail to 52 in Seattle. It is quite warm along the coastline, but you go up in elevation. It's quite chilly, but it gets really cold in Trail. Let's talk about gusts. Okay, so where are the gusts? Most of the gusts are located throughout southern New Mexico and western Texas, in which case gusts range from about 30 to 50 miles an hour, maybe a little higher in some places. But Texas, they tend to, but in places like Texas, due to severe weather in the region, well, there could be very strong gusts that this type of model does not really pick up. That is actually up to the observers there in the Lone Star State. That would tell you the actual wind speed, wind direction, wind gusts that are going on over there, because some severe thunderstorms can cause some damaging winds as a result. Let's see, elsewhere, 30 to 40 miles an hour outside of LA and outside of San Diego, and as well as a few 30 mile an hour gusts located outside of Astoria, Oregon, in Washington State as well. Over the Great Lakes, up to 45 miles per hour in gusts on the northern part of Lake Michigan, while your wind gusts, they're blowing around up to 30 miles an hour. Alright, and now let's go to humidity. Where's the most humid place? Well, there is a lot of humidity from central Texas all the way to Tennessee and Kentucky. The mid-Mississippi Valley is getting a lot of moisture right now. And as well as folks along the Carolina coastline and coastal Georgia and northeastern Florida. And there's abundant moisture in the interior parts of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. A lot of moisture all over the Great Lakes region, but while your humidity, your relative humidity is not as much as those throughout the other parts of the Great Lakes region. In the west, though, the Sierra Nevadas to Los Angeles, there's a lot of moisture there, and as well as the parts of the Pacific Northwest, though, and the interior side of the Cascades, but the Bitterroot Mountains of Idaho as well. Which means drought-stricken areas, well, they're going to get some relief, though. But how much relief will they get? Well, I got to check. Now let's talk about rainfall accumulation in the next 24 hours. Sorry about that. Now, where's the worst of the rain? Okay, so in the Northeast, they could receive just about as much as a tenth of an inch in some places, from the Adirondacks to Mount Washington. Then throughout much of the South and the lower Mississippi Valley, parts of Texas. Let's start off with Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. They could receive just about as much as up to 4 inches of rain, maybe a little locally heavier amounts, though. From places like outside of San Antonio all the way to St. Louis, they could receive just about as much as 3 to 5 inches of rain. And through Fort Smith as well, Kansas City, about as much as up to 6 inches of rain. And as well as the northern parts of Kansas, the Ohio Valley, about as much as up to 2 inches of rain. Southern tip, up to 3 inches of rain. Then we go to Southern California, where they're going to get as much as around up to 2 to 4 inches of rain there. And parts of the Sierra Nevadas, and the southern part of the mountain chain, and Death Valley too. Out around Las Vegas, about as much as up to a half an inch of rain. Now what about snowfall? Snowfall, let's take a look. In northern New England, they can receive just about as up to 3 inches of snow there. In the next 24 hours, the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico, about as much as up to 6 inches of snow. Outside of Los Angeles, they can receive just about as much as a full foot to a foot and a half of snow. But going up towards the Sierra Nevadas, all the way up to South Lake Tahoe, they can receive just about as much as up to a foot and a half of snow as well. Hold on a minute, folks. I'm getting something. More background music, though. Alright, I'm back. Alright, do consult with your local officials and your local weather office just so that you guys get the actual amounts in due time. Some of these estimates don't really mean that it'll happen in, like, let's say, in 24 hours from now. Maybe it could be off, maybe it could be, like, exactly as it is predicted, or not at all, or there is at a place where it's not predicted. We're going to go here. Wait a minute. Yeah, we're going to go here where we are going to leave off for a while. But right now we got to talk about upper part of the atmosphere. Right now at 500 millibars. Yeah, I feel like there's just so much background noise, folks. Some of them have copyrighted material, like copyrighted music. But it's not really my fault. It's just, the way I live. I mean, what can I do about it? Move out? I don't have much money at this moment. Alright. Now, let's talk about the upper part of the atmosphere. see what we got. Okay, so we do have an upper level low just over California, which means that's trough.